Well, Deb Murphy filed this report for Sierra Wave Media a little more than 24 hours after the mud and rocks rolled down the mountainside, covering sections of Highway 168 west above Aspendell. Inyo County and Caltrans crews were able to open a temporary lane, freeing an estimated 50 vehicles that were parked at Sabrina and North Lakes. The skies opened up shortly after the vehicles were led through a series of 3 slides, stopping any additional road work. Now, the mudslides hit shortly after 2:30 p.m. on Sunday. The biggest slide covered an estimated 100 yards of roadway, measured 40 feet high at the east end. Beyond that slide were 2 more relatively smaller slides. Now, according to reports, approximately 50 people walked out Sunday afternoon, leaving their vehicles in the lake's parking lots. One fisherman from Oregon stood in the Cardinal Village parking lot watching the heavy equipment carve out a path, wondering when he'd be able to get on the road home. Another story, a couple of friends had spent the day at South Lake, then drove to Sabrina boat landing for a slice of the cafe's famous pie. Now, a few brave souls tried the footpath midway down the canyon, but the path was impassable below the slide. Now, while those stranded are now free, it is uncertain when the highway will be back to normal. According to Caltrans' Terry Erline, Deputy District Director of Maintenance and Operation, the department will bring in technicians from Sacramento to determine if the mountainside is stabilized. Now, mid-morning Monday, a helicopter out of Apple Valley flew reconnaissance over Sabrina and North Lakes to try to figure out just how many cars and/or people were at the 2 lakes. The number relayed to personnel on the ground: between 50 and 100 vehicles. Cell service was non-existent. The only contact above the slide was by landline to the Lake Sabrina boat landing. Now, according to the Inyo County Sheriff's Department, contact had been made with the California Office of Emergency Services and arrangements made to bring in a Chinook helicopter from the National Guard if necessary to get the stranded people off the mountain. Inyo County's dozer and Caltrans loader worked in tandem with Keller Chernagle and Justin Davis at the helms. The crew stabilized the muck on the uphill side of the highway and created an extended berm on the downhill side. Now, rather than take the dirt and rock slurry down to the pavement, the crew widened the right lane to allow an escorted passage of the trapped vehicles. County Public Works Road Department head Chris Cash praised both men's skill and experience as they wheeled the heavy equipment through the muck. Thank Deb Murphy for that report. We will know that today the Inyo County Sheriff, CHP, and Caltrans allowed public access to remove those previously trapped vehicles, but that was only going on until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Access past the road closure will be with law enforcement escort only. Now, the United States Forest Service has closed Sabrina Lake and North Lake campgrounds and trailheads, Paiute Pass and Lamarck Lakes. Therefore, there will be no incoming traffic allowed. Caltrans has planned the hard closure of State Route 168 West to begin July 25th for cleanup efforts, and there is no anticipated date for reopening the road. One more note about Bishop Creek. Look at this video, getting information, and this video from Joe Todd, no relation, that Bishop Creek is raging right now. Longtime locals say it's perhaps running 2 feet higher than normal, urging everybody to use caution around all streams and rivers. Keep a close eye on your children and pets. Well, Yosemite National Park announced today that Yosemite Valley and Wawona will close at noon on July 25th to all visitors due to the ongoing impacts of the Ferguson fire. These closures include all hotels, campgrounds, and visitor services in Yosemite Valley and Wawona. Now, with the ongoing closure of Highway 140, park visitors can't exit the park via Highways 120 and 41. This temporary closure is expected to last until this Sunday, July 29th. The Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias is closed also. Now, since the Ferguson fire began on Friday, July 13th, several other park facilities and roads have been closed due to fire impacts and the need to support firefighting operations. Highways 120 west and east and the Tuolumne Meadows area remain open at this time. Yosemite National Park, the press release says, will continue to work with the incident management team and assess conditions day by day. That full press release posted on SierraWave.net. Well, Deb Murphy filed this report. The technical group approved 2 resolutions dealing with the pumping test of well 385 in the Pride Bridges area last Thursday morning at its meeting, 18 months after this whole mess started. The resolutions adopted the monitoring and management plan for the test and amended the 1999 revegetation plan to allow the well turned back on for that test. Now, the action put in motion the settlement agreement between Inyo County and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, and they reached that last month. Now, the point Inyo County had been trying to make over those 18 months of long tech group meetings interrupted by endless caucuses, repeated arguments, and legal action was simple. The LADWP can't unilaterally make changes to revegetation plans without tech group agreement. Why didn't LADWP just amend the re-veg plan more than a year ago and avoid the frustration? Nobody at Inyo County could answer that one. Owens Valley Committee President Mary Roper read a formal statement at the start of the meeting. She pointed out the plan amendment constituted discretionary action and as such required compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Thank Deb Murphy for that story. Well, Dr. John A. Ungersma has stepped down from the Northern Inyo Healthcare District's Board of Directors effective July 19th. Now, anticipating this announcement, press release from Northern Inyo Healthcare District said the board is ready to launch the search for a new board representative from the district's Zone 1 area. That covers most of West Bishop, McLaren Lane, Rocking Cay, Starlight, and Aspendale residential areas. Now, like so many who preceded him, Dr. Ungersma gave a lifetime of service to the healthcare district. He was the area's first orthopedic surgeon, arriving in 1966 and serving the community for over 23 years. In addition to those clinical years, his Northern Inyo Healthcare District Board of Directors service spans the last 18 years. Dr. Ungersma also served his country as a medical officer with deployments including stints in Vietnam, Iraq, and Somalia. During those times, his operating rooms featured tent-like walls and dirt floors. He recalls with ease the names and faces of local colleagues, many long past. The list reads like a who's who of Bishop's mid-century doctors: Ray Hartwig, Robert Denton, C.L. Scotty Scott, Evan Neck, David B. Sheldon, Carol Curtis, Stephen Kobayashi, and his practice partner, Owen Walker. That full press release, I might add, written expertly by our friend Barbara Lahan, is posted on SierraWave.net. Tragedy in Death Valley last week as a 57-year-old man from Huntington Beach died. News release from the Inyo County Sheriff's Office stated that on July 16th, shortly after 4:30 p.m., Inyo County Sheriff's Dispatch received a call from Death Valley National Park reporting that a law enforcement ranger had located a rental vehicle associated with a missing solo hiker at Panamint Dunes parking area. The hiker's fiancée reported him overdue to Death Valley National Park earlier that morning and indicated that he may be day hiking in that area. A hasty ground search around the vehicle was conducted by the ranger. However, the hiker was not located. On July 17th, around 9 a.m., Inyo County Sheriff Search and Rescue Coordinator and CHP Inland Air Operations Helicopter H-82 out of Apple Valley began aerial search reconnaissance. Death Valley National Park personnel were on scene near the vehicle, providing ground search assistance and ground communications. At approximately 9:45 a.m., the aerial search team located personal items including a backpack, empty water bottles, and printed information referencing hiking Panamint Butte, which is about 1 mile east of the vehicle on the slopes of Panamint Butte. Now, shortly after noon, the aerial search team located more personal items about 2,000 feet southwest of the backpack, and while circling those items, they also located the missing hiker's body in a wash about 500 feet southeast of the items. The hiker was found deceased and transported by helicopter to Lone Pine, where he was transported to the custody of the Inyo County Coroner's Office. Hiker identified as Peter Rode, a 57-year-old man from Huntington Beach. The autopsy conducted July 19th by the Inyo County Deputy Coroner determined that Mr. Rhodes' cause of death was due to a fall causing a skull fracture, which resulted in a subdural hematoma prior to succumbing to the elements. We'll be back with more news.